Los Angeles woman taken into custody after hours-long chase and standoff in Coldwater Valley. Slow-motion chase ends in standoff. A slow-motion chase through popular Los Angeles Valley roads led to a standoff in Coldwater Valley. Authorities were pursuing a possible suspect in a hit-and-run crash in Los Angeles County on Friday morning, April 25, 2025. The incident began in Hollywood, near Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street, after the suspect got into an argument with her boyfriend. He got out of the car when she allegedly struck him and attempted to run him over. The chase began shortly after LAPD officers arrived on the scene.
Maybe he's really inebriated, or she. 3 seconds? My goodness, I have to do my hair. Well, you know, you were calling it a pursuit. It's definitely a failure to yield. When you say the word pursuit, when I hear the word pursuit, I'm thinking fast moving, ripping around corners, doing dangerous things. This vehicle moving very, very slowly. LAPD, this happened in the Hollywood area, and you are very correct. They are saying that it is a possible hit and run, or that's what the original want for the pull over the vehicle. When you take a look at the front of that Toyota, you can actually see some damage right there. So that probably is part of that hit and run situation. Well, you know, you were calling it a pursuit. It's definitely a failure to yield. When you say the word pursuit, when I hear the word pursuit, I'm thinking fast moving, ripping around corners, doing dangerous things. This vehicle moving very, very slowly. LAPD, this happened in the Hollywood area, and you are very correct. They are saying that it is a possible hit and run, or that's what the original want for the pull over the vehicle. When you take a look at the front of that Toyota, you can actually see some damage right there. So that probably is part of that hit and run situation. Why is this person running? Why is it going so slow? Well, those are the big questions, aren't they? Now, he made its way up Laurel Canyon. At some points, apparently, quote-unquote, picking up speed, but we never heard that speed. So, I mean, if he's going maybe what? Let's bring up that speedometer right now. If he's going 20 and he picked up speed, maybe he was going 30 at some point. But very slow moving. LAPD, a number of officers behind him. Now, I'm listening in. They are basically trying to bring this to an end very peacefully and sanely. They've got their bag of tricks. They were trying to set up spike strips in certain locations, but he was on Laurel Canyon. They were giving the heads up to the North Hollywood division of LAPD, saying, "Hey, he's coming your way. Let's get our ducks in a row," as it would be. But apparently, you see it right there. He made that turn onto Mulholland Drive. Then that changed everything. You saw a little bit of that speed increase right there. Maybe that's what they were talking about earlier on. As far as other traffic, other cars on the roadway, right now, Mulholland seems to be pretty peaceful. And this driver of this damaged Toyota pickup truck, driving very slowly. We always kind of, want to put a little of interest into these pursuits. But you know what? These things can change up very quickly. And the reason why this person didn't stop, that is still unknown to us. So there might be something else going on right there. Right now, though, LAPD, they are taking this very seriously. They're going to try to set up a way to stop this vehicle. And of course, pit maneuver, yeah, maybe not, because of the fact that they're in the canyons.
Like, is this vehicle disabled? Is that why it's going so slowly? It just looks so odd.
Yeah, very odd indeed, and that could be part of it. Maybe there's something inside that vehicle that puts it like I know some vehicles go into safe mode when things aren't working properly, and it's just or limp mode as they would call it. But that minor damage on that front, I don't know. I just can't really say. I was thinking maybe the driver is inebriated in some way, where they just or just not knowing exactly what's going on and just kind of meandering through this on a drive. But LAPD, they've got their lights and sirens on. They've got they're making it known that they're behind this driver. But the fact that this vehicle moving so slowly, you're right, it is very odd indeed. And other cars, you can see them passing, so they're not blocking off any of the roads out here, but the traffic behind the pursuit, which is also pretty odd in itself, is really starting to build because of that slow-moving vehicle. How are they going to bring it to an end safely? Well, the spike strips might have been a good idea, but the pit maneuver right now on Mulholland Drive, probably not, just because they're afraid that vehicle might go over the side. And again, I've said this in the past, and it is very true. Law enforcement, LAPD, they are concerned about the safety of the suspect as well as anybody else that's around that vehicle, including themselves.
It's definitely an unusual one. I feel like we say that often with some of these pursuits, but really I don't remember seeing anything like this in the past. I don't know, I'm sorry I missed it if you mentioned this, but I was thinking almost, what if, I don't know, the vehicle is short on gas too? That could be why this individual is driving so slowly, or maybe just unfamiliar with. I saw a little shake there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what, and I have a feeling law enforcement, they're in that same boat. They're not really sure what they're dealing with right now, and that's one of the reasons why they're being very cautious in making any kind of aggressive moves to bring this to an end. You know, that jerk of the wheel, that brings me back to my thought, maybe there's something up with the driver. Look, we're going across the lines there, but then like, oh, wait a minute, you know, maybe it's sleep apnea. You know, there could be so many things that's going on with that driver, but right now, the biggest concern is that driver's still continuing to move. Law enforcement, they want to bring it to a stop, and that erratic driving, that could be a problem for sure. You don't want to see this person just meander off the side of the road and wind up down an embankment, possibly injuring themselves, or who knows, that vehicle could land in somebody's backyard or on a home. So right now, LAPD taking it very seriously. They are trying to set up maybe some spike strips up ahead, but I don't see them as of yet. There might be somebody right there, but you know, yes, they have that spike strips already, so we'll see what happens. He's got a moment or two till he gets there, but if this person is, you know, inebriated or has some sort of issue with them, they might not be able to see that spike strip, and this actually might be a very functional way to bring this to an end. We'll see here in just a few moments, but again, that kind of erratic driving, that's dangerous for that law enforcement officer that has to pull those spike strips across the road.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. It worked. Or
there he goes.
Yep,
over
definitely worked.
Strip. Okay. And you never know, as you mentioned, Stu, the state of mind of these drivers when we follow things like this, and why they're doing the things they're doing, where they're going, and clearly this is a case, another example of how different, you know, each kind of case is, right?
It makes me nervous with the traffic going the opposite way. I wish they had blocked off that road, you know?
Yeah, thankfully he's not passing the double lines at this point right now, but certainly feeling the impact of the spike strip on that tire. As you could see, it was deflating in your shot, Stu, as you pushed into that front tire, but hopefully it's losing air at a quick rate of speed, so that maybe this can be put to an end relatively shortly.
Yeah, you know, that's the design for the spike strips, and it looks like it is just the driver's side that actually got taken out. They don't want those tires to deflate like explosively. Like when you watch old television shows and they run over a spike strip, there's number two. So he's going to have plenty of flat tires here in just a few moments. You know, they don't want those tires to just kind of rip apart and explode. They want that air to kind of escape very slowly, and that's the plan. And you know, those things are also designed for safety, because a rapidly deflating tire could create a problem for that driver. When it goes down slow like that, they know that that tire's going flat. They can react, but you are so right about the traffic on the other side of the road. Now he's driving around maybe on 4 flat tires. We've seen him meander close to that line more than one time. We just don't know, but slow speeds right now, very, very positive.
And it's not like what you see in the movies. You would think, oh, this driver's driving slowly, the police can just pull up in front and stop the car and everything will be fine. But no, you don't know the state of mind of the driver. You don't know if they're, if they have a weapon or what's inside that car.
Right.
So you just can't. It's not like what you see in the movies.
Definitely not what you see in the movies at all. You don't see the officers getting up close and one of them sitting on the hood, jumping into the back of the pickup truck. That stuff, that is definitely for the movies. But those big tires, this is going to be creating a problem too. You see how those high sidewalls, they're creating a lot of cushion and a lot of movement, and then add that in with that driver's kind of meandering back and forth. That truck is just kind of wobbling right now as it's making its way down the Coldwater Canyon, and there is a lot of traffic. Now, the only positive here is that if it does wander across and bump into another car, the word bump, not crash, well, technically I guess it is a crash, but it wouldn't be going very fast, and that would be safe for the other person. Of course, we don't want to see any property damage as well. That vehicle definitely going slower and slower out here, but that driver just continues to push it and trying to keep away from LAPD. It's a fruitless effort, I can tell you that, because eventually this person is going to go into custody. There's the LAPD helicopter over it, but they've got a number of officers right there, and you saw the coordination with the officers on the ground. They've hit it with 2 spike strips, so we know at least 2 tires have gone flat, and that truck continues to just move along down Coldwater Canyon right now, 5 miles an hour. Woo! It's on fire.
Goodness. Yeah, and because of the fact that it's only just a one-lane street going down, it was more convenient for police officers to deploy the spike strip to make sure it was going to catch, because it wasn't a wide road where they had to throw it across multiple lanes of traffic. So that's certainly a good thing, and it shows it works.
I don't know. I feel as though, has it slowed down at all? It seems like he's just going the same rate of speed. I do see the police cruiser getting closer from the back.
The tires are deflating, though.
Definitely tires are deflating, and I have a feeling that if he gets out of the canyons and we get down to, say, Ventura Boulevard, Van Nuys, any one of those streets where we're not in a canyon, we don't have other vehicles very close by, they may attempt to do that pit maneuver. Will it bring it to an end? I just don't know. That driver just continues to just drive. Even though we're moving very, very slowly, they are not stopping, and LAPD, he's getting really close right there. That maybe that's that command presence. He's like, hey, look, we are right here. Just stop, man.
Now speeding.
Nope, there we go. And there you go. Yep. Here, look at that. Here we go. This might be the pit right there. Oh. Well,
no.
Quite a bit of damage to the pickup truck. I can tell you those taillights aren't cheap, and he's probably going to try it again right there. But, yep, okay. All right. Quick with the doors. But it's not enough. And that's what I was thinking, too. The driver, he doesn't seem to really, quote-unquote, care, or she.
Very
doesn't
wobbly.
seem to care. Yep. Very wobbly, and we've done 2 pit maneuvers, but it hasn't brought this thing to a stop. They're going to have to kind of spin this thing completely around to get it to really come to a stop. But at these slow speeds, I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. But, if anybody can, it's our LAPD.
And you really feel for the drivers on the other side of the lane that were caught right there, that one red vehicle and the black one there, a white one as well.
They don't know what to do.
Exactly, and they want to try to get out of the way, but there's nowhere else to go in those narrow canyon roads that are just one lane each direction right there, and then all of a sudden you have the end of a pursuit possibly happening right in front of you. Oh, and gosh, it's really wobbly and disabled, this pickup at this point. Look at the rims.
The driver is just determined, though, just pushing, giving it his or her all to the very last
there we go.
moment.
Hopefully this is it.
Well, boom! I wasn't expecting that. Got him again right there, kind of wedged him into place. Maybe they were just trying to get home. It looked like they purposely pulled into this driveway. Now, LAPD, they might have different information, and again, we can't be too playful because look at these officers. I see one less than lethal. Everybody else has their weapons out, and they are very cautious. This driver, we've seen it, not stopping, and that vehicle still considered to be a lethal weapon and still trying to drive. now they've really got it wedged in there. I can't imagine that driver being able to get out of that type of situation. So right now they've got that vehicle surrounded, but those tinted windows, that's going to be a problem as well. Law enforcement, I'm sure they're making calls trying to tell that driver, come out of that vehicle, put your hands up, stop the vehicle, throw the keys out, all the things. But right now, it is more of a standoff out here, and again, this is happening on Coldwater Canyon, Studio City area, so I'm sure the Canyon Road is going to be closed in both directions.
And you see them pretty much all surrounded now with that extra vehicle at the top of your screen right there, really crowding that pickup in. There's nowhere for him to go. Hopefully he doesn't make a dangerous move, backing up or trying to get up.
He is trying.
He's trying to back up?
He is trying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's trying. Look at the rear wheel.
I mean,
he's trying to get it, trying to move it out of the way. And that type of activity is not what law enforcement want to see. That is very aggressive still, even though it was very slow moving. And officers are putting themselves in harm's way. We don't want to see this to escalate more than what it's got. Now, the less than lethal, he might be deploying it right in a moment or two, but I think they just want to break the windows. That's pretty much what they want to do right now. They might have already did a shot. There it is. So they're shooting the beanbags. They just want to break the window and, again, maybe get a better look at the driver, get a better feel. Like, is this person completely inebriated? Are they in some sort of emotional state? And also possibly just start to communicate a little better with that driver. But
clearly,
this person
still trying to get away. I mean, this behavior is what was that? Something came out of the...
That was there's more beanbags being deployed, and it also kind of gives you a feel that how dangerous those beanbags are. I mean, it did take off the trim, but it didn't break the window. So the back they keep hitting, and the reason why it's not collapsing is because of the tint. So they're going to have to hit that more than a couple of times before that window falls in and they're able to actually see inside. But you know what? LAPD, they've got the time, and I'm sure they've got extra beanbags, and they'll just keep doing this until they're able to break those windows and be able to communicate with that driver.
But look at the tires still spinning, trying to back up. This driver trying to make a move, clearly,
Well, obviously, the state of mind is, something is going on here, clearly, because when you're boxed in like this and it's come to this point, behaving this way is only escalating the situation. And so, therefore, you're thinking, well, this person feels as though they have nothing to lose. And the most dangerous people often in these circumstances are people who feel that way because they're willing to do all kinds of things that are just not safe for themselves or the people around them. This is just one of those bizarre pursuits that we're watching unfold before us.
And you wonder about the homeowner there, the property that vehicle's wedged up upon. You really feel for, oh, wow, a couple of homes and properties. You don't know how many people living there. Hopefully they're okay or inside, sheltering in place. But this is certainly not the situation you want on your driveway with clearly somebody.
I don't even know if they know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure they hear all that going on.
They're probably trying to communicate with this driver. Obviously, we can't hear, but that's definitely something that they're doing at this time, asking them to exit the vehicle. Usually that's how it goes. We also don't know, or do we, how many people are in that car?
Well, we know for a fact there's a driver.
Well,
and that's about all we can really say for sure right now. I haven't heard them talk about the number of occupants. Law enforcement seem to be busy on getting the spike strips in the right place to try to bring this thing to an end. Some of those officers taking some chances there, getting into different positions, trying to see probably the same thing. Is that driver is sitting up? Is that driver inebriated? Is this person maybe in some kind of overly emotional state, and that's why this is going on? It definitely seems like they reversed the direction. Now it seems like the truck is trying to go forward. For a while there it was going backwards, but now it's going back again. So he's definitely, or the driver definitely trying to maybe try to continue on. But again, what kind of state of mind do you have to be in where you have looking at this situation and continuing to try? There's something else going on here for sure. And those very, very slow speeds, I just have a feeling that this is going to be some sort of very emotional or maybe some sort of drug-induced type of situation for that driver. LAPD, though, they have to deal with this, and they have to deal with it in a way where their officers don't get hurt and they don't put that suspect in a situation where they might get hurt. So right now, this vehicle is still kind of wedged up in there. The engine definitely not off. And the LAPD, they're kind of tasked with how do we get that driver out safely and bring this to an end.
And obviously causing a lot of traffic right there on Coldwater, because now you have both lanes of traffic closed in the narrow canyon road right there, which is a big thoroughfare for people trying to get in and out of the area, across the mountain perhaps. See, you have frustrated drivers. I think that's a reporter. But to making that turn, right? Going back down on the valley side, I believe.
Traffic is
building. But look at that traffic. I mean, I wish I could tell everybody, turn around, don't go that way, because this is going to be a situation that's going to last for a while at least, and this is not something you want to deal with on a Friday as we approach lunch hour in a couple hours coming up.
Definitely, and those a lot of those people, you're correct. One of those, I think that's an actual stringer down there making their way up to get video from the ground. Other people making U-turns to get out of there. But you're right. They have no way of knowing what's going on. And Coldwater, Laurel, all these canyon roads, very, very busy, very popular. And you see that traffic really starting to back up. Even if it came to an end this very second and the driver came out, I would venture to say they wouldn't have the roadway open for another 30, maybe 40 minutes, if not longer. So, you know, all those folks, they're going to have to make those U-turns. Luckily, they're able to do that safely. It isn't like this is a one-way road, so they'll be able to turn around and head back the other way. There are plenty of ways around this, but it's, you know, making that decision, making that turn, and then, of course, law enforcement, they've got the real issue right now. That driver behind the wheel of that pickup truck, that failure to yield, at least that rear wheel has stopped moving. I don't know if the driver has given up or maybe the truck has given up, but right now we're seeing a little less action there, and law enforcement, might have to wait this one out. So we'll wait and see ourselves.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they're having, you know, the position where they're relaxed, they're waiting it out, they're just waiting. I mean, obviously, the threat of the vehicle, that pickup trying to reverse or go forward is gone because you don't see those tires moving, and so they're kind of in a relaxed position right now, just waiting it out. Like you said, the advantage is on their side.
Definitely, the law enforcement has the advantage for definitely with time. That vehicle, I just can't see it making its way out of there. We've seen stranger things in the past, but right now it's more of a wait and see. And you know, we haven't seen any kind of four-wheel drive action, so I really can't. I just venture to say that that vehicle is this is where it's going to come to an end. Hopefully, it comes to an end very peacefully.
Yeah, we certainly hope so for the law enforcement, you know, not to get injured and that this whole situation does end peacefully. But clearly, again, who knows when this will be over and when that canyon road will open up.
Definitely. Right now, it's a lot of wait and see. I'm going to venture to, you know, as soon as I take the camera off of it, something dramatic's going to happen. But you can see a lot of these vehicles. Clearly, we know these are all the vehicles that have been turning around. Hopefully, they'll be able to tell some of the other people coming back up. I've been in situations like that where people coming down the mountain have been like, "Hey, it's blocked. Turn around." Yeah. So maybe that's going on there as well. But a lot of these, like this guy, it's like, what are you thinking? Everybody's turning around, going the other way, but you think you're going to be able to get around the corner. Either that or maybe they're just not aware of what, you know, their situation around them. But LAPD, they're very aware of that situation that's going on and how to bring this to an end safely. They're still working on it, but it seems that, you know, breaking those windows, didn't seem to be that easy, even with the less than lethal, the beanbags. So talking to that driver, communicating safely, being able to see what that driver's doing, those things are very important to those officers on the ground. And right now, they're still unable to do any of those things.
And at this point, I'm just wondering about the people who live right there. If they're informed or aware to not come outside, maybe they're gone for the day. Obviously, it's past 10 o'clock on a work day. But it's just a very bizarre situation, and I'm just baffled by the fact that this individual keeps attempting to reverse or go forward, where they're pretty much stuck in that position.
Yeah, that vehicle's, like I said, not going anywhere unless something dramatically changes in the next couple of minutes. I'm just surprised they haven't opened the door and at least tried to start communicating with the officers and say, hey, you know, if it's an emotional type of situation, a little bit of time and it will make a lot of difference. And I'm just really curious. I'm trying to keep an eye on that mirror. If that mirror moves, that means that door is going to open up. And also, it seems like it's a newer vehicle. You have the registration tag in the window.
Yeah, late model pickup right there.
PD's asking us for our help. Yeah, then they're trying to see through the windshield, and you know what?
It's very tinted.
It's very, very dark down there. Yeah, maybe if we move around a little bit, we might be able to see a little bit better. But at this point, it is so dark in that vehicle, we cannot see inside.
Yeah, and a lot of people wonder, you know, when something like this happens in their community, why there aren't officers telling other residents who are driving nearby, hey, turn around, or have a checkpoint. You know, they're so busy dealing with the situation and trying to put this to an end that it's not easy to get the resources out there and deploy to help manage the traffic at this very second. So that's why a lot of times you have to tune into us and watch us, or just get the message from a friend or a fellow driver in the area who's saying, hey, turn around, Coldwater is blocked right now. We don't know when this situation is going to end. So clearly, you know, in a lot of situations, you wish you had that information. You wish there were police kind of telling you this is what's going on up the hill or down the hill. So maybe you want to be aware, but in this case, what matters the most, the first priority here is to get this under control, get that driver out. And of course, as you mentioned, Stu, they're asking you for a view of the driver, and we can't even see because it's so tinted.
It is very tinted, and also law enforcement, they are making those moves. I understand that they're going to start getting some traffic control out there, but more importantly, we hear that they maybe or probably have actually started talking about bringing SWAT over here, or metro units, depending upon what's going, which one is going to be closer. But they're already starting to escalate that situation, knowing that that driver has a little bit of an advantage right now with those tinted windows, and of course, they can't communicate with them. So they're moving their chess pieces up. Hopefully that driver is just, you know, maybe passed out behind the wheel, or if it is an emotional state, maybe starting to calm down, a little less adrenaline, a little bit more just calm, and maybe starting to rethink what's going on. Because the reality is, you know, the simplest answer is just open the door, do as you're told, go into custody. But again, sometimes those simple things are really hard to comprehend.
Now it looks like I haven't seen any movement for a while, right, unless I missed it. So you're wondering what is happening inside. What is going on inside of that vehicle? It is just one of the most tinted windows that we've dealt with, so you can't even see motion. The motion I see is just a reflection from the trees there. So it's adding a shroud of mystery to it all and complicating the situation, because you really can't tell what's going on, and we have no idea how long we're just going to hang on this shot, and they're just going to wait.
You just don't know the mindset of the driver inside, the emotional state, as you've been mentioning, Stu, what their motivation is, what they're dealing with, what the circumstances are inside. If the person's talking to somebody, even, you know, on the phone, sometimes that's the case as well. And sometimes they want to get somebody who knows this driver to, hey, give them a call and see what's going on. When people watch the situation happening on TV, are following this pursuit as we have. So it's a long process, and it's not an easy one because nobody's a mind reader. Nobody knows the intent of this person, and clearly they're just waiting it out, as you mentioned, Stu. The police definitely have the upper hand.
Definitely have the upper hand right now, and just being clear, like for anybody that's watching that might be the armchair officers, that guy right there that has green on there, that's pretty much, I would venture to say, a high-powered pellet gun. And they still are trying to figure out a way to break those windows or break the glass so that they can talk to that driver. When we do really get tight on there, you can kind of see some of those pellet holes in that window, so the glass is broken, but that heavy tint is not allowing that glass to fall, and that's part of the problem. I'm not sure if they've done the same thing on the other side of the vehicle. We didn't see any of them, and maybe they're not doing it because they don't want to agitate the driver. You know, if it, like the windows breaking next to them, that might create something that scare the driver and create a situation where the driver does a reactive move that would escalate into something else. So right now they're just concentrating on this side. They brought out the ballistic shield, that one officer right there. He just put it down, but you can see them. They're talking. We're watching their body language. That's the best we can do up here in Skyfox. We can't hear what they're saying, but they're definitely trying to put together a plan to figure out how to just talk to them. Just talk to that person and or see that person. That's really what they're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. It's just a waiting game right now.
Most definitely.
Stu, why
as
didn't
far
you,
as the roadway goes,
yeah, I want to get a check on the road there. Looks like they
got vehicles still, still making U-turns right there. That's going to be the westbound off of, no, I'm sorry, that's southbound Coldwater. There's a lot of folks still, they haven't really gotten a word, and they're starting to make some U-turns. You got one LAPD unit basically just saying, hey, you can't come this way. So possibly a lot of these folks are going to be making U-turns. Let's see about the northbound side. You still got a lot of traffic. You got a lot of traffic down there, and you got people there. That's not an officer. That's a guy on a motorcycle, basically parked the bike and is waiting. So I don't know how long they're going to wait. Who knows? But you can see a lot of these folks are already frustrated making that U-turn. That's the smartest thing to do. Get out of there as quick as possible. And it's not because of the danger. It's more because this is going to be here for quite some time. And you just don't want to sit there on that roadway and wait when you could have easily gotten to wherever you need to be just by making a U-turn.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how long the standoff is going to last until, and clearly as we get later into the afternoon, perhaps into the lunch hour, a lot of people using Coldwater Canyon as a thoroughfare throughout the area, and it is a very well-traveled path. So now, thankfully, there is some traffic operations helping the situation because it is backed up.
Ma'am, very backed up, and you keep mentioning lunch, and you're trying to make me hungry, but a lot of these folks, there's a lot of great places to eat off of Ventura Boulevard. Just make these guys on this side of it, all they got to do is make that U-turn and get down that way. The other side, it's a little bit more of a drive because, and you can see it, LAPD's pretty much doing a good job out there. They've been clearing it out, that one unit. He might not be in the mix of the action, but he's more helpful than a lot of them, as he's just kind of telling everybody, hey, you got to make that U-turn, get out. You're not going to be able to get through. They need to get well, that's the problem, I guess. They can't really get anybody on this side of it because it would be one of these officers, and these guys right now pretty busy, as I would say. So maybe they're going to get somebody on the lower sides, someone off of Ventura, and drive up Coldwater and just start telling people, hey, you got to make a U-turn. You're not getting through.
Of all the places that this came to an end, one of the most inconvenient roads.
Oh, definitely. And I'm curious to see if this is just a random spot, or was he trying to make his way into the driveway, or what? And you were mentioning earlier about the folks that live here. This home does definitely have a couple of vehicles in the driveway. I haven't seen any residents out walking around. This one, no vehicles, but I'm sure they've got a spacious garage with a home up here on the hillside. But right now, I would venture to say that anybody that's in any of these homes right there, they're kind of aware of what's going on. They're probably in a safe space and looking out the window and probably have a better view of what's going on as well. Anybody in this house, they might be able to see in through that window, but we can't, and it's frustrating for me as well. And you know what? All we have to do is see. The law enforcement, they need to see just to get a better feel with what they're dealing with.
You really wonder if the driver inside that vehicle is taking a nap or what that driver is doing, passed out. You know, you don't know the state of mind, and clearly this is a waiting game, as you were mentioning, Stu, but also people in the neighborhood, I'm sure they're on a group chat. Maybe they saw on their Ring cameras, you know, maybe they're on Nextdoor or Citizens app, and they're probably conveying the message that this is going on right in front of their home.
Yeah, you know, you brought up you touched on a very great point. It's like, also, we don't know the condition of that driver. We're kind of just throwing things out there, but you know what? Maybe it's a medical issue. Maybe, you know, maybe that person is actually in need of medical help right now, and they're unable to help this person because they don't know. They can't see this person. They don't know if they have a handgun. You know, maybe it was some sort of medical thing, and now that person, like you said, passed out, and this could turn into something else. And if they would have just opened the door, if they would have just made contact, if they would have done something behind that wheel, then this wouldn't be happening. But right now, it's like you said, it's more of a standoff. It's more of a wait and see. And LAPD, they have made that call, and as soon as they get here, depending upon where they're starting from, even if SWAT rolls in right now, they're not jumping out of the truck and tackling the vehicle. They're going to have to sit here. They're going to make a plan. They're going to implement the plan. They're going to check it. They're going to make sure the plan's going to work. So it's going to be some time, and this is going to be going on until that driver either gives up or they're able to possibly talk him into just coming out. But if it comes down to SWAT, it's going to take some time for them to try to figure out how they're going to make this happen.
Well, how long, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, the thought. I know you don't have an answer. How long could this possibly go on for? There has to be a point where, you know, if nothing's happening, they're going to have to make something happen.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, when SWAT shows up, they've got a different arsenal. Those are specially trained officers. They, you know, of course, all the officers are trained to handle situations. But a standoff like this, well, you know, they got to bring in the pros, and the pros in this case are going to be either Metro or SWAT, and they're going to come in here and they're going to look this over. They might have some high-tech tools that the patrol officers don't have, and they'll be able to get a better feel with what they're dealing with inside that truck, or they might just walk up, you know, basically break that window, and then that's going to start a conversation.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bunch of tactics that these trained professionals know and are ready to perform. It's just the waiting game right now, and sometimes that is more the advantage in certain cases because they don't know what they're dealing with, and they'll just wait it out. But this is clearly one of the most stubborn drivers that we've seen, at least in the past few weeks as we've been covering situations like this. A lot of times you see finally the driver will give up and come out, which is what we really want to see, but in this case, certainly a different situation.
Yeah, definitely a frustrating situation for everybody involved, and especially a lot of those drivers that were on Coldwater this morning and that are unable to get to where they need to be or have the inconvenience to have to find their way around it. You know, you got to give it props to LAPD, though. They did get the spike strips in place. They got those tires out pretty quick and very safely. And the pit maneuvers, you know, those are not as easy as you and I might think, and especially, oddly enough, when those vehicles go slow like that, that actually works against the officer for those getting that vehicle to spin around. So, you know, because there's no forward momentum. But as it stands right now, this driver looked like they were trying to turn into the driveway and then basically wedged himself up against the hedges. But what's going on inside there? We can't see it. LAPD can't see it. And that's the reason why it's become this waiting game.
So what, you know, in circumstances where they are trying to communicate with someone who's inside barricaded, whether it is a vehicle or a home, aside from speaking on a loudspeaker and trying to get their attention and trying to communicate, at what point do they attempt to call them? Do you know how that works?
Oh, that one, I wouldn't be privy to those kind of protocols at all, but I do know that they have made the call. There's been a call out for SWAT, so they are en route. Where they are, how long it's going to be for them to get here, that type of information, I haven't heard on the scanner. Sometimes they give an ETA, but that's the other thing too. It's like Wonder Team assemble. They have to make sure that all their guys are here. It isn't like they come in one truck like the fire department. So depending upon where these officers are in their ETA to this location, then they've all got to get together. Like I said, they've got to make it. This is going to go on for a while, unless that driver decides, like, hey, I'm just going to give up now. But it doesn't seem like that's happening. I think it's hopeful or wishful thinking. I keep seeing something going on over there, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe the window went down or something. But it hasn't happened. And you know, I'm kind of poking fun at it. Is maybe he just got the windows tinted and they told him don't roll down the windows. But I don't think that's the issue right now. The issue right now is that driver is either obstinate or just incapacitated, and probably by their own hand.
Yeah, that is certainly a thought that is crossing people's minds as they watch this, now that we don't even see any attempts being made to reverse or drive forward, which was ridiculous to begin with, but now not seeing any motion or activity coming from that vehicle. So, you know, your mind starts to wonder what is happening or what happened inside of that truck.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, these officers, they, you know, it was a very slow speed pursuit, but still they were in pursuit. And now they're all just kind of, again, they've got a number of them out here. But the thing is, it's like you just don't know. Maybe this person does have a gun in there. And, you know, maybe you can approach with that shield and try to open a door. Maybe you can approach with the vehicle and try to break out that window. But, you know, these officers, they have to answer to their superiors as well. And if some, you know, it is one of those things. If one of their bosses says that was dangerous, now you're in trouble. You know, that's what's going on down there. So they have to be cautious. They have to play by their own rules. And right now their rules are maybe changing. I'm seeing some gloves being put on, and I'm seeing these guys kind of lining up. So maybe they're going to make some sort of attempt to approach that vehicle. Yeah, and if that happens, they're going to bring it to an end quickly. It looks like they're talking to this guy. He's the guy with the shield. You can see it. So we're going to be here pretty much, unless it goes longer than 2 hours. Yeah. But I am just as curious as you are. I can guarantee it.
We want to remind people how this all started, because we started the 10 o'clock hour breaking into our coverage with this pursuit that started on Mulholland in the Beverly Glen area. Police were in pursuit of the slow-driving late model gray pickup truck that you see there wedged, and this is how it ended up after this driver was initially followed because of the failure to yield, possibly involved in a hit and run, and then slowly making their way to this area of Coldwater Canyon. And then after 2 deployments of successful spike strips that were deployed from the police department. Those tires were deflated, and the driver did not give up, though, but ultimately wedged right in here. And as police officers surrounded this vehicle, as we're watching right here, that driver continued to try to reverse into those cruisers. So we were watching that for quite some time. But again, reminding people that we can't see inside the vehicle in that pickup because of the severe tint that's on. We did see officers use non-lethal force to try to break the window, the back window there. You can see that it's shattered, but still no movement from inside the cab of the,
door's opening.
The door is opening. Here we go. Let's see what's happening.
Door's opening. There we go. There we go. Female driver. And back inside. Well, we at least know that it isn't a medical issue. That we can cross that off the list. But definitely just came out, made an appearance, and then went back inside the vehicle. So, you know, now it's now things have changed up a little bit. Now, still the question is that person armed?
Right.
But this kind of changes it up. Maybe the officers that are here will make an attempt to take her into custody. But it's a good thing to see that person get out of the vehicle. And clearly you can see that, you know, maybe not in the best frame of mind as she got out, but got out, did a little jig there, and probably said a couple of things, and then got back inside the pickup truck. But law enforcement, you can see it. I see it is a little bit different stance with the officers, which is good. But clearly, they still, you know, there's still always those possibilities, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of that possibility.
Well, maybe they'll change up the tactics and the strategy, knowing who they're dealing with, what they're dealing with in terms of the mental state, whatever she yelled at them or said to them, they'll take that into consideration. And obviously, they know it's not a medical condition, as you mentioned. She's well able to walk out of that vehicle on her own. So they know, and they gathered a lot of information just on that appearance, Stu.
Definitely, and still, you know, you can see like that one officer there. I was keeping an eye on her. She had her weapon drawn and ready for the entire time. I got to give officers props. A lot of times I watch these standoff situations and just think to myself, I couldn't stand or be in that position for half an hour, maybe more. But you can see a little bit more relaxed stance with the officers, which is a good thing. What they're going to do now, still, I don't know. They may try to go over there. I haven't seen any kind of baton or anything come out that they might use to clear out the tint, the broken window, so they can look inside. And also, if she locks the doors, that's going to be a hindrance as well. So right now, still a standoff, but a little bit less tense for sure.
I'm actually wondering what prompted that individual. I mean, again, questions we're just thinking out loud to, at that moment, come out. Curious to know what was said. And very risky, by the way, to do that, to come out that way, yell whatever she yelled, and then jump back into the vehicle. Like, clearly, it once again confirms to us that there's something going on here that's might have to do with a mental health concern or some kind of under the influence of something, because that behavior, not only is it dangerous, but it's very reckless.
Very reckless, very emotional, probably not very well thought out. Getting a little information that now we're hearing maybe, I'm doing the air quotes, maybe that vehicle's an unreported stolen. So possibly that driver is not the person that's registered to the car. So again, is it stolen? Is it some sort of relationship, like somebody took the vehicle without permission? All that, maybe we'll find out. But right now, the big concern is just getting that person out of the car and handcuffs on, and then put into the back of one of these police cars and clear that roadway. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime very quickly. But again, officers, at least the tension has lessened, and we're still waiting on SWAT. Like I said, they have been called. When they're going to get here, that's another question. But right now, Coldwater closed in both directions. The main ones would be between Mulholland and Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, it's a major thoroughfare for people traveling back and forth in that community. And clearly this has been going on for 45 minutes at this point in that area. Thankfully, there's traffic officers or people making sure that they turn around and don't approach, because obviously this is going to take some time, especially if SWAT is called, but hopefully maybe they can resolve this before then, given the fact that the driver did come out to make that brief declaration to police officers, whatever she said to them, and then quickly went back inside. But she seemed irritated. She seemed like she didn't want to be bothered.
Yes.
And then went back inside to sit in that car.
Yeah, most definitely. And you always kind of wonder, it's like, if she got out and said, you know, hey, leave me alone or whatever, it's like, you know, law enforcement's going to be like, oh, well, she wants to be left alone, let's just all go. That's just not going to happen. So it's you know, she's going to get the cuff. She's going to go into custody, and hopefully this will get resolved, and whatever the issues were, they'll be worked out later on. But right now, it's still a standoff. There's still a sense of danger because you just don't know. But the big problem right now is for the public because, like you said, Coldwater's closed both directions. Yes, you know, a lot of people can be a little bit inconvenienced and just make their way over to Laurel or any of the other ways around. But as it stands right now, you've got some other vehicles. I don't even know how this guy got through it. For a minute there, I thought maybe it was one of the Metro vehicles from LAPD. But you can see right there, too, they brought the fire department out just in case it goes sideways. They'll have paramedics nearby to help out very quickly. But as it stands, it's more of a standoff than anything else happening out here. Studio City, right off of Coldwater Canyon.
You know, I think we have Gigi right now who's going to join the conversation and talk a little bit about some information she's getting as far as how this whole thing began. Gigi, tell us where you are and fill in some of the details here, please.
Well, I'm at an LAPD station here in South Los Angeles, but I've been following this pursuit. I've been in touch with commanders at the LAPD, and let me take you back to how all of this started, which was in Hollywood just before 9:30 this morning. That female driver apparently was having an argument with her significant other, her boyfriend or husband, a man in that pickup, which, by the way, is stolen. And that is one of the many reasons that officers aren't just approaching that car. They don't know if this woman is armed. They don't know who she is right now because, again, the car is stolen. That is a silver Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. Again, Hollywood and Vine, she's having an argument with this man, according to police. At one point, he gets out of the passenger seat, and police say she attempts to hit him with that pickup truck and does indeed hit him, most likely knocking him into the bed of the truck from which he then jumped out of. Now, police quickly arrived on the scene. This guy, the victim in all of this, did not want to be treated by paramedics. An ambulance was called. But she then, when police arrived, she just took off. And that's where the pursuit started. Hollywood and Vine. And those are Hollywood officers that you see surrounding her right now. Again, if you're just joining Good Day LA, we've been following this pursuit. We have Stu and Skyfox up above, have been following it all the way from Hollywood when that driver, she took Laurel Canyon, then jumped onto Mulholland and is now stopped on the 2300 block of Coldwater Canyon. An extremely tense situation. Officers don't know what condition she is. She is possibly under the influence, they suspect, of alcohol or drugs. But one important thing is they don't know if she is armed right now. They don't know what is in that stolen vehicle. She is facing felony hit-and-run charges in addition to most likely charges for stealing that Toyota Tacoma pickup, and even more once they get her out. So right now, commanders are at the scene. They are grouping together to see what is their next step. Of course, everybody hoping this will end peacefully. Meanwhile, there's a secondary scene, and that's back at Hollywood and Vine, where the original hit-and-run assault with a deadly weapon charge, and this whole story starts.
Yeah, that's right. So the way you gave us these details, details. Clearly, this is going to take a while as far as an investigation is concerned, and what happens here as a result of this standoff. You're dealing with two separate scenes that police have to assess what exactly happened as they piece this together. But it does help us understand a little bit about what led us to this place and what emotional, mental, and physical state this individual is in now.
And right now, police officers with Hollywood Division, LAPD Hollywood Division, are at Hollywood and Vine, and they're interviewing their main witness, which in this case technically is the victim. He is somehow connected to her, either her boyfriend or her husband, her partner. They were having an argument. He got out of the car, and police say she hit him with the car. Now, his injuries reportedly are not serious. He refused to be transported by ambulance, but he is talking to police right now. And of course, they're trying to get as much information as they can. Unclear if he's being cooperative. Most often in situations like this, the other person is not cooperative when they know the suspect. They're not giving up a lot of information. One of the big things they want to know is, does she have a cell phone in that stolen pickup truck? That is one of the most important things, because if she does have a cell phone and they can get that number, crisis negotiators are going to be calling her. They're going to be trying to talk her down and, of course, talk her into giving up safely.
Yeah, and she wasn't giving up, Gigi, because even in the end of all this, when the spike strips were deployed, those tires were deflated, she still kept going, then wedged up against this property right here, surrounded by police officers, and even with them deploying the non-lethal rounds inside the vehicle, she was trying to basically reverse back into those cruisers and then also go forward to get out of the situation, not giving up. It was going on for quite some time. You could see those rear wheels spinning into trying to reverse into law enforcement. So that's just racking up the charges.
That's right. Right, and pit maneuvers are extremely dangerous in that they cause a driver to lose control, and you're on a canyon road where the edge just goes down the mountain there or goes into someone's home, and then traveling southbound, you had all that morning traffic. So pit maneuvers were very dangerous. They had to be thought out, and they had to only be used in moments that did not put anyone else in danger, and that's what you saw the LAPD, those Hollywood officers, do. The pit maneuver, which did cause the car to lose control for a bit. They did lay out several spike strips. She did hit one of those spike strips, eventually losing control. Her front two tires are flat, and the pit maneuver caused them. You saw her wobbling down the street right now. And another thing I can confirm, she does not live at that house. She just happened to lose control there in that driveway. You both were talking about how those tires were just wobbling left and right. And of course, a huge concern was she was going to crash into an innocent victim. All that traffic on the southbound side of the car. Again, police do believe she may be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. They don't know. Right now, they're working with her boyfriend, husband, trying to establish who she is, and that most important thing, does she have a cell phone in that stolen pickup truck that they can call her on, that those special mental health specialists, crisis negotiators, can begin talking to her and convince her, hopefully, to give up safely.
Yes, thank you for actually clarifying that, because that is the question that people often have is, how do you communicate with someone in a situation like this? Well, first of all, they need to have a phone. Second of all, they will get that number, and then they start to speak to them. And these are trained professionals who often deal with circumstances like this. They get to know who they're dealing with and know the types of questions to ask and know the types of things to say to convince them to safely exit a situation like this. And so this is how we're seeing this standoff play out.
That's right. And oftentimes, family members will realize what's happening, and they'll arrive at the scene. And family members are usually not allowed to approach a vehicle. It's simply too dangerous. But another technique that's often employed is that police will have a family member, a mother, a father, a sibling, a husband, record a message that will be played if that suspect does not have a cell phone. If they're not answering their cell phone, they don't want to communicate that way, they'll record some type of a message and they'll play that on a loudspeaker, and it'll be a familiar voice, a family member, a good friend, asking, begging that person to please give up safely because they don't want to see anybody get hurt. Of course, we don't know if any family members are on the way there. It'll be very difficult. And if you're just joining Good Day LA, you are watching the end of a pursuit, very slow speed pursuit that traveled from Hollywood, where it started, when the suspect inside that stolen pickup truck you see there to the right of your screen reportedly tried to hit her boyfriend with that pickup truck. So she's now facing assault with a deadly weapon charges. That boyfriend now at Hollywood and Vine with police being interviewed as they try to get more information about her. She then led police on a very slow speed pursuit. At times, even though her car was not disabled, that stolen pickup, she was doing only 5 miles an hour, which is a thankful thing because you don't want someone racing up down those canyons. We're talking about Laurel Canyon, Mulholland, and eventually ending here on Coldwater. And if you're just joining us, Coldwater is closed right now in both directions, south and north, so you'll definitely want to take an alternate route if you're trying to head from the valley into Hollywood or vice versa.
It certainly is a dramatic standoff because it's just the waiting game that no one knows when will be over, right, Gigi? And a lot of times you see a driver will give up at this point knowing that they're all surrounded and that police officers are probably talking to her, at least giving her some orders. But in this case, she's definitely dug in and not listening to anyone to get out. So clearly, though, officers are trained in all of this, and they use time as an asset and a tool. In their case, they have all the time in the world to make sure this resolution comes to a peaceful end.
That's right. They're most likely using their loudspeakers. I don't know if we want to bring in Stu Mandel. I don't know from the chopper with all the noise. And, of course, you've got that police chopper, if you could possibly even hear something. But most likely they are using their loudspeakers, asking her, telling her, ordering her, going from everything to please to making it an order for her to come out. And she is not coming out. We are trying to check and see if they are in communication with her, if she does have a cell phone in that stolen pickup truck.
But speaking about the mental state, and we never know their mental, emotional state when we cover things like this, but the fact that when she initially got wedged up in that position right there in that vehicle, the fact that the tires were spinning in reverse, trying to back up into law enforcement, it's something we didn't see or we haven't seen in quite some time. So clearly giving you a window into the aspect of the fact that she didn't care. She wanted to get out of that situation. So much so that she was willing to back into law enforcement. Thankfully, the truck was so disabled, nothing happened, and it didn't move or crash into those cruisers there, but clearly a sign that she was dug in and she wasn't going to give up.
That's right. And, you know, Stu mentioned earlier that this could be a case where she was very emotional, and obviously emotions were running high. She was having an argument. Police will tell you that domestic violence incidents are some of the most dangerous that police can respond to because emotions run so high. We have seen police officers multiple times actually get shot or injured, even killed, responding to a domestic violence incident because people are so worked up. They are so emotional. So these situations are handled with the utmost of caution now that they know that this started as a domestic violence incident, an argument between a couple in Hollywood that escalated when this man, her boyfriend, husband, again, significant other, got out of that pickup truck, which is stolen, and she hit him with it, according to police. So she is facing multiple felony charges this morning, starting with assault with a deadly weapon, failing to yield, the police pursuit, etc.
We are getting close right now to approach the 11 o'clock hour. We've been on this for an hour, a solid hour pretty much. Let's just get everyone up to speed. Those who are just joining us, the reason this has dominated our coverage this morning is because it is quite an unusual situation. And, you know, at the time we were dealing with a pursuit-like circumstance. Now it's a standoff, and it was putting other people in danger. So we're closely monitoring the situation situation. Gigi is with us, providing us some details, and it's helping us understand the circumstance. Stu up in Skyfox giving us this perspective. Why don't we have you, Gigi, if you don't mind, just tell us how this all began and what we know so far, and just set the scene.
And we should mention we are both live streamed on Channel 13 and Fox 11 as well. If you're just joining our coverage, you can join us on either station as the Gigi lets us know how this all began and where we are right now.
Well, yes, good morning. This all started in Hollywood at the iconic corner of Hollywood and Vine, where police tell me that a female driver and her male companion were in a heated argument. At one point near that corner, near that intersection, that man got out of the car and she accelerated, hitting him, possibly tossing him into the bed of that pickup truck, either tossing him or he jumped up there to try to get out of the way, but he was injured, we are told. And she then took off, leaving him there. She also apparently hit some city property, which is a fire hydrant. Now, police have since learned that that silver Toyota Tacoma that you are looking at live there is stolen. The driver is a female, and detectives and officers are working with her boyfriend, trying to get as much information about her as they possibly can. The pursuit went from Hollywood and Vine to Hollywood and Laurel Canyon, where she headed north. At times she made U-turns, came back south, and headed north again. She eventually headed west on Mulholland and now is on Coldwater Canyon. As you saw live with great coverage from Stu Mundell and Skyfox, LAPD officers from Hollywood attempted pit maneuvers several times. That did cause her to lose control, but finally it was a spike strip that took out her front two tires, and she has stopped in the driveway, crashed into the hedge of a home here on Coldwater Canyon. If you're just joining us on Good Day LA, traffic is shut down in both directions on Coldwater Canyon. And just a moment ago, Stu was showing you LA City firefighters are also staged in the area. An ambulance is there too, should it be required. Again, we were talking about right before we went to the transition of the hour that this is started as a domestic violence incident, and these are some of the most dangerous calls that police officers can respond to, precisely because emotions are running so high. And we've sadly seen many officers lose their lives while responding to a domestic violence call. So they are treating this very cautiously. They don't know if she is armed. They don't know who she is because the pickup is stolen. So now they are working so many different scenes. This one at Hollywood and Vine, they're also working to try to determine where this pickup was stolen from. Commanders are in conference right now. They're trying to decide what their next steps are. This as they try and learn more about her state of mind, who she is. Does she have a cell phone in that stolen pickup truck? And all of that information is hopefully going to come from the boyfriend that they are interviewing in Hollywood. His injuries reportedly not too serious. We do know that he refused to be transported by an ambulance, but that paramedics did check him out, and they say she did hit him at one point. How hard and what injuries he suffered, we don't know yet. All of this is developing as we speak, and you're looking live at this beautiful neighborhood, Coldwater Canyon. Both south and northbound traffic now shut down as this situation plays out, and as this suspect continues to refuse to come out of that stolen pickup truck.
And Gigi, one thing you mentioned, which is quite interesting, is that a lot of times in these cases, when there is a significant other, perhaps a love interest or a partner involved in all of this, that they don't want to actually cooperate with law enforcement and give up a lot of information. Is that correct?
That is, unfortunately, especially when there is some type of an emotional tie between the victim and the suspect. Oftentimes, the victim will be very uncooperative, will not give up information about who the suspect is. We know the police are with him right now, and they're also documenting where this crime started, which was on Hollywood and Vine. We do believe she does have a cell phone, and that police or crisis negotiators may be speaking to her now. We are waiting confirmation on that. But apparently she does have a cell phone, and that information, of course, would have come from the man that had been in the pickup truck, the man that had been in an argument with her. And again, officers also believe that she may be under the influence of either alcohol or drugs. So they're treating this very, very cautiously, as you would expect them to. And they have to also be concerned because she is in the driveway of a home, and the folks in that house, we do believe there are people there and that police have been in contact with them already, telling them to please stay inside, lock all those doors, lock all those windows, just in case she decides to make a run for it.
If we can, I think Stu and Skyfox can hear us. If we can just get a wider shot, I'm just curious to see what it looks like on the road there, and if all of the backup and traffic we had seen has cleared now. Obviously, they're not allowing people to come into this area until the situation is resolved, and it looks like that is the case. So.
It also looks like the fire rig is going back down the canyon hill, or leaving the scene. We saw it parked close by in case, but perhaps a different assignment, a different kind of strategy that they're deploying right now as they try to deal with this.
Hopefully they are indeed talking to her. We believe that crisis negotiators are talking with her. The ultimate goal, of course, is getting her to surrender peacefully. No one wants to see her get hurt, the officers and the innocent folks that might be around in that neighborhood, although police have done a good job of stopping traffic and making sure there is no foot traffic. We did see a couple of people trying to get to the scene, trying to get a better look. But again, they don't know if she's armed. The stolen pickup truck gives them an idea that, you know, this may not be on the up and up, and that makes them be even more cautious as they treat the scene.
Yeah, and it's curious to wonder if all of the law enforcement from the Hollywood division waiting there for perhaps SWAT to come in, SEB units perhaps to take care of this situation and help this go along. And they are highly trained in terms of crisis negotiations and dealing with this type of stuff, also with more resources at their fingertips as well. In that case, you know, they would have more manpower to perhaps take this woman into custody. So we have not yet seen any of that approach the scene at this point, but we're wondering if that's what they're waiting for.
They are in talks with the Metropolitan Division of the LAPD, and of course SWAT and the K-9 officers are under the Metro Department there, and they're trying to group and make sure this meets all the requirements, if SWAT can actually make a difference, if they are needed to come in. We know that LAPD commanders from Hollywood Division and the West Division of LAPD are also en route. Some of them are already there. We're talking about the captains, the commanders in charge of LAPD's West Bureau, which Hollywood is a part of. They are all heading to the scene if they're not already there. You can see the pickup truck with that toolbox in the back, that built-in toolbox in the back is blocked in. So right now there's no danger of her getting away in the pickup truck. They know it's disabled. They know the front two tires, the axis is shot. She's not going to go anywhere. The tires are also flat. She tried. We saw her revving that engine, and she tried to get away, but she could not. So that is not of a concern right now. And one of the reasons they would bring SWAT in, one of the big reasons they would bring SWAT in, is to block in her car with an armored vehicle. But right now, there is no danger of her getting away, at least not in the car. And if she were to try to get away on foot, I would venture to say she'll be quickly overpowered by all the officers that are there at the scene. And it's a very difficult, winding road. You've got uphill one way, downhill the other way, so we don't think she's going to get very far.
And we're just learning that this has impacted the community and the surrounding area. As you mentioned, Gigi, homeowners in that community told to stay inside if they're at home. Obviously, probably group chatter in the neighborhood, blogs and apps telling people what the situation is, perhaps picking this up on Ring camera as well, but also impacting the local schools in the area. Harvard Westlake, we understand, is on lockdown at this point as a matter of caution. But clearly, this has impacted many, many drivers, many residents, people in the community, and now the local school there.
And I just want to point out that, yes, indeed, all lanes obviously closed here, and this is Clawson and Coldwater, just so if you're just joining us, you have an exact idea of the location we are talking about.
I believe this is, and maybe we could bring Stu Mundell into the conversation. I believe this is the 2300 block of Coldwater Canyon. I'm not sure if this is already the Sherman Oaks side. I believe it is.
Stu, can you hear Gigi?
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. It is. We're definitely on the Sherman Oaks. We're in the Studio City, actually. This is actually coming up as Studio City, and you're right, 23. I think it's actually the 3400 block. Actually, I can tell you the exact address here in just a moment. But yeah, this is definitely going to be in the Studio City portion, and this is at 30. The actual addresses are going to be 3470 is going to be the general area where we are off of here of Coldwater Canyon. And the officers still standing there. They are trying to make contact, I am sure, with that driver, Gigi, saying that they might be able to talk to her with a cell phone. And basically, this person knows that they're going to go into custody and maybe is just doing a waiting game. We also hear that it keeps moving around, but they actually are setting up a command post nearby. We did see that one fire truck. Those were probably paramedics. They did leave the scene. I believe the fire station is literally right at the corner of Coldwater and Mulholland. They might have gone back to the station, and I heard that might be a staging point for LAPD as well. It's kind of tough to see, but we don't have to move Skyfox, but you can clearly make out there's an ambulance here very close by, like Gigi said, in case this turns into something else, which I hope and probably will not. But they do have paramedics nearby to attend to anybody that may be injured during this standoff. But that driver, just very obstinate, like Gigi brought up earlier, very probably clearly emotional. Anytime it is a domestic violence call, that is one of the dangerous calls that any law enforcement goes on, including LAPD. And again, we're also not sure, was it, when they say the vehicle is stolen, was it stolen from the person that she bumped into or hit with the vehicle? Is that her boyfriend? Is it their vehicle? And then she took off in it. All those type of things will come out later on. The big portion right now is just for that driver to get out of that vehicle. LAPD, they are tasked with doing it in a safe way, and right now the safe way is just a wait. We did see her get out one time, and that was a positive in a way. I was thinking, well, she got out one time, she'll get out again, but she hasn't gotten out in any type of recent moments. And again, this is good working, coming up on almost an hour out here. Coldwater closed in both directions. The big ones are basically between Mulholland and Ventura Boulevard. So that's a large area that is closed down for this police activity. And like you said, Harvard Westlake now on lockdown as well. This is affecting a lot of people, and it's just over an emotional type of situation, probably. And maybe it's fear of retribution or fear of having to go to jail. But that driver, all she has to do is get out, walk over to the law enforcement, and then this will start on that road to a recovery. So it's that simple. But as it stands right now, just a standoff type of situation. Law enforcement, they still have lethal weapons out, more, less lethal weapon. And you also can read the body language. When this first verse going on, very tense down there, kind of more relaxed right now. Clearly, you just saw the helicopter fly through the shot. That's LAPD. They're here as well. They were asking for our help. They were asking for anybody's help to see that driver. Her getting out and showing herself really kind of helped law enforcement know what they're dealing with. But then when Gigi was bringing up the fact that this is a domestic violence, that really, okay, we know it's a woman behind the wheel. She did get out. Doesn't appear to be armed, but we don't know if there's a gun in that vehicle. But also now you're adding on the layer of high emotions. So yeah, this is still very much a tense situation. Law enforcement, they are nearby, more law enforcement than what we're showing right here. Not sure if the staging point is over at the fire station or maybe at Westlake School, but the bottom line is they are setting up. We might be seeing some of the Metro SWAT make their way over here shortly. If they do, again, it's not going to be a quick thing. They're not just going to roll up on the truck and walk over there and do their magic. They're going to have to set up a plan. They're going to have to make sure all their guys are ready. They're going to make sure all the officers know what the plan is. So if they see something, Up, 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 doors opening, doors opening, doors opening. Oh, now it's closed. Never mind. Type of situation, and that's what's going on out here. This is going to be the 3400 block of Laurel Canyon in the beautiful city of Studio. Studio City is where we're at. There's a school on lockdown as well that's nearby because of all this activity that's going on. The roadway's closed in both directions, and of course a lot of law enforcement out here, playing the waiting game. Where's it going to go from here? I don't have any secret information. I don't know what the bag of tricks is, but we are going to be here as long as we have fuel, and I would venture to say we're probably going to come back after we if we run out of fuel. We're just going to go get some and come back. But definitely a lot of bosses showing up. That there might be Metro. That one, this one, it might be Metro or another boss. But those type of vehicles sometimes are SWAT. So maybe they're arriving here. Maybe they're talking about what they're going to do. Maybe. But what we do know for a fact is that lady, suspect, woman, sits behind the wheel of that pickup truck. That truck not going anywhere. Law enforcement not going anywhere. We might be going somewhere because we're going to need some fuel soon. But the only resolution is her getting out of the truck, and she should just do it and just start the road to bringing this to an end. I wonder if I could follow you guys on YouTube. Yeah, that's definitely, I'm sure they brought some. And when I see tear gas, it's just a general comment. I don't know what they're going to use, pepper balls or CS spray or whatever. Let's see if they respect the line. Here they come. Going through the finish line. Yay! Winner. This is the LAPD's honey badgers. They all have Starbucks in hand. Yep, that's what I thought. They're going to stop at a distance. They're going to get out. They're going to assess the situation. They're going to talk amongst themselves. They're going to tell the foot patrol, the patrol officers what's going on. Everybody's going to be briefed. They're going to clear these guys out, and then they're going to go and do their magic, whatever their magic's going to be. But this isn't going to happen in a timely manner. See that? That's what the lady behind the wheel of the Toyota needs to do. Just get out of the truck. She's comfortable in there. You got the AC running. I can see the AC water leaking out of the bottom of the truck. So the engine's probably still running. It's been a minute since I had a Toyota. They're comfortable, aren't they? I mean, the AC is always really good. Yeah. Tell jokes. I'm not telling jokes. This is a serious situation, gosh darn it. too dark. Way too dark. Way too dark. And I remember the one that sits up here. Oh, well, let's not do it now because the only way I can see it is on the out. Up. Something's going on. Something's going on. Something's going on. Something's going on. So, door open. Everybody backed off. They walked over there and then everybody backed off. What's going on? What's going on? Well, I guess they're calling some of the officers away. I don't know what's going on here. Dude, the SWAT guy showed up and it's like everybody acted different. This is for people that know me that probably will know, but that guy reminds me of Adam. I don't know. I think you're seeing the, yeah. Looked like people, yeah. What was that, Kevin? I had the show turned down. Nemesis says I'm old. Yes, I am. Still on kick. I'll copy. I'll thank you. William, I haven't even seen anything in a negative. Oh my goodness, I knew this was going to start. Happy birthday, Janice. Peace, sound, and stuff loves you dearly and wants to wish you a happy birthday. Mark, that is only happening in my own mind. Oh, got more movement. Oh, they're bringing in the trucks. Yeah. Well, don't block her in. Yeah, you guys are blocking her in. How is she going to get out now? How is she going to get out if you block the door? Oh, come on. Oh, you're ruining the hedges. They're like, can you move this one? Anybody got the keys? Okay, I got the keys. Let me get in there. Just make sure you put it in reverse. It's going to be embarrassing. Okay, there we go. Oh, she missed her moment. Oh! What did you do? Man. On the truck? I was just going to say, the boyfriends are really going to be mad. Making a little vehicle sandwich. If that is her boyfriend's truck. But that's the thing. The insurance isn't going to cover this. We lost the IFB if anybody cares. I don't know if we need it. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of tight. Hey, if you back up, she don't give her the room. Right. We're still live on Cake. I'll copy it, but my audio's not live, so. All right, everybody, let's move the truck. Okay. How is she going to get out? Well, now you guys are just, this is micromanaging. Man, this sucks. We're not going to be able to see the end. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, she could be napping for all we know. I mean, the bump probably might have woke her up, you know, but yeah, so this guy pulled up there so he could, yeah, look in the window. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How are they going to pull that off? She's not going to be able to get out. Well, maybe on the passenger side. Maybe on the passenger side. They could, yeah, climb over. I wonder if there's a door light that's on the dash. You know, like your door's open. Ding, 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 ding. Door. Okay. $30 on station. All right. Any of our bosses listening out there, management, etc. We got about 30 minutes on station. 30 on station. Say my name. Say my name. Not you in the. I'm listening to the show. Never mind. I wonder if they're going to use the CS gas on a pole. I always thought that was the coolest thing. Yeah, right there. Right there. Yep. And if you know, for those that are still with us, thank you so much. Just letting you know, when I'm making comments like that, half comments, it is the voices in my head, but in this case it was the pilot talking through the headset. You know, we were just talking about the little door right there that they can pop open and probably break the window, and I'm pretty sure this guy's got one as well. So maybe that's the reason why they were positioning them as they were, so that they can use the CS gas. They've got these poles that basically pump the CS gas in so they can break the window and drop it in there. That's first less than, wow, that's a serious less than lethal. That's like the ultimate, maybe that's CS gas. I don't think I've seen that one before. Or maybe that's the 40 mil. Yep, he's checking the loads, making sure that it is what he needs. Yep. Yeah, I think that's smoke. Come on, let's get this done because I want to see some stuff. Oh wow, we're either so behind on the chat. No, because I'm looking down right now, and it's when we were playing with the back camera. Yeah, I don't know if I reset it or maybe I bumped it. Oh, now I have no signal. Wonderful. All right, it's all good. Sorry, kids, I can't hang with you right now. I mean, I want to. I am hanging with you, but now I got an ad for a casino night. And, oh, maybe we're done. Maybe they shut us off. Yes, and I know we're live on some other station, maybe. Really? Because mine went to some older pursuit. Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe it's a signal issue. All of a sudden I'm getting, SAT stuff. I wonder if these vehicles have the ability, you know, maybe not X-ray or something like, you know, I'm not talking sci-fi, but have the ability to look inside there. I mean, I know the older tech, they had like sound stuff, like where they literally could pick up where heartbeats are inside of a house. So, yeah, it's going to be very unpleasant. I advise you to get out of the vehicle now. Get over to the passenger side and get out of the vehicle. You will not be harmed. The dog will not bite you. It looked like it, right? It's like it's up to you, kids. Yeah, I don't want to run out of fuel. Yeah. This guy, I mean, worry is not really the right word, but it's like that dude's very disciplined on that trigger. Mr. Megaphone is behind the tree, and not that I need to see him, I'm just letting you know. Just in case you couldn't hear us from that angle. Wow, check. Look at that one. Yeah. I think there's another less than lethal, but that one's orange. I wonder if that's like a level of less than lethal. You know what I mean? Or if it's just... Oh, there's the pole. They got the pole out. That's what I was talking about earlier on when I was talking about this CS. Yep. Oh, man, the guy that was over here left the CS gas. Come on. Oh, no, he didn't leave the CS gas. He's still standing there. I just didn't see him. I'm old. You're offline. Thank you, phone, for letting me know that. I wonder if they, I don't think they fight over it, but I wonder if it's like where you are in the ranks, which vehicle you get to drive. There we go. They're breaking out the stick. Putting the CS gas on it. We tried the carrot. Really, guys? You didn't change it from the last time? My God. We tried the carrot, now we're going to use the stick once we set it up. Still offline. You guys are sucking up all the internet. I need Skylink. Oh, they got a smaller stick. What's that? Yeah. How's he going to use it? He's in a worse position than anybody. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, there's still nothing in there, though. That's the CS gas deployer thing. Reading the body language down there. They're making a plan. Either that or he broke it. Did he break it? Yeah. No, I think that's adjustable joint. Come on, guys. I wonder if she woke up this morning and said, wish I could meet a bunch of nice guys today. And this is, you know, her guardian angel with a sense of humor. Yeah, I don't think she's going to. I'm pretty sure whatever you're telling her, it's not changing her mind. Yeah. It's like she. Yeah, it's not. I wonder if it's like they just have like a checklist. Like, yes, we told her this many times. You know, we warned her this many times. We explained that the gas is going to irritate her, you know, throat, eyes, and ears and nose, you know. Oh my goodness, we like really are just live. Live from New York. I wonder if he's talking because they're seeing something. You know what I mean? Like if they, you know, there's the window's broken, so maybe they are seeing some movement. Well, you know what? Let me take this time to thank everybody for hanging out with us, even though this is not as exciting as it possibly could be, and also do a little shameless promotion. If you guys like what you're watching, definitely give Fox a little love because they signed my check and they provide this nifty little helicopter that we can fly around in. Give me some love. You can find me on the internet. You know, and it's not a political thing. It's like I really just am on IG, and today is like the Friday photo dump that I haven't been able to do because we've been busy doing this. But you know, I just post pictures and you know, things that I find interesting, usually from what I see from the helicopter, and some personal stuff too. Not that kind of personal. And so if you guys follow me on Instagram, I would appreciate that as well. It's Stu_Mundell, MUNDEL. So, you know, and I still don't have any internet, so I'm not. I think this is the time when I'm kind of happy where you guys aren't like, you know, railing me. Wow, check out the cool emblem this thing has. All right, I know. Don't let them crowd us. Our helicopter's bigger than theirs. Is that Kyle? He's not a very good. I don't know if he's moving for the shot or. Yeah, I'm just like looking out the window. He's kind of all over the place. Pick a spot and lock it down there, Sunshine. If you guys could see what I see out my window right now, you'd be like, wow. That's cooler than what's... I don't know you that well. Also, it's one of those things. It's like right now the helicopter's moving around. You know, my pilots, like we just almost did it. Like what is it, 40-degree turn? You know, we're moving around, but you guys don't see it because of the gyro stabilized camera. But we've got other helicopters. Everybody's trying to get over here because this is the spot. All right, here we go. We're doing some window breaking. Here we go. Boom! Oh, yeah, Terry, break that window. Break that window. All right. Command presence, that's for sure. I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, probably can't lock it down because of the rotor wash. Back off. Yeah, it's Kyle. He's the newest. I think it is. I'm not listening to O2. Either that or drop down. You know what I mean? Why do you have to be the same altitude? No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We got it. We got a shot. All the drama you guys are missing. All you're watching is the standoff. You know, in the olden days, I could pipe. I had like complete control over the whole audio panel. Like I could be sending down, like the pilot's audio and my audio and you know the scanner and all that. But we don't have that ability in this aircraft because sometimes you know the behind the scenes is a lot more interesting than the scene. Well, definitely can hear us. I know that they have no rear window. This guy over here is probably documenting it just in case things go south, or even if they don't go south, they have full documentation of what they did. Got to be very litigious. I wonder if Scott's in there with him. And if he is, then why isn't he telling him? Here comes Burbank. All right, I gotta pay attention to this. Well, at least he climbed. Or did we go? Or did we lower? Did we go down, or did he climb? Well, they broke the window out. That's all they did. Let me take a peek. Let's see if they loaded it. I think they did. Yeah, it's loaded with gas now. So it's got a load in it. So next time you see them carrying that, that's when they're going to deploy. Just going a little wider so I can keep an eye on the stick. Well, he's got to walk around to the front anyway, so. It's getting pretty low. It is definitely getting pretty low. 15 on station, 1-5. That's really it. Unless, of course, it's going down. I'm just joking. All right, that dude's got a gas mask in his hand, so that's promising. He put the gas mask down. That's not good. Okay, that's a positive. Double checking it. This is where he accidentally triggers it. Everybody's getting a gas mask. Everybody get a gas mask. You guys go away. This guy's on the phone. He's like, his boss is watching with us. Probably not giving us the Stu shout outs, but. Did I mention you can follow me on IG? Stu_Mundell. Just throwing it out there. Not like I'm making money off of it or anything. I'm definitely not. I don't think I can, but that's not the point. What did he just do? Oh, he's got his gas mask on. He's ready. All right, everybody, mask up. All right, let's mask up. Robble, 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 robble. Robble, robble, robble. All right, we're masked up. I don't know if she's watching on our app, and just letting you know it's coming. Oh, are they going to use the? Oh, they're going to use the 40 mil. Maybe, because they just handed to this guy, and I saw him pointing. Why is this guy? Come on, put your mask on. Let's go. Do you not know how to put on a mask? There we go. And somebody's going to give me some ugly thing, you know, that I'm making fun of these guys. I'm not. You know, we're running out of fuel. It's just like my love life. Yeah, spending all this time. No, we're spending all this time for the setup, and then I can't perform. No, I can perform. It's just doesn't happen. There we go. Just watch. I'm gonna get like a whole bunch of ED ads on my feed. Man, this guy's got all kinds of guns. Come on. You all got gas masks on. Is the other guy coming around back? Yeah, there he is. All right, here we go. Here, have some of this. Boof! There, she deployed. Yeah. There's a door. I don't know if she's just airing herself out. Yep, thank you. I see movement, but it looks like she's going back in. Oh, no, she's... Oh, don't touch your face. Don't do that. Oh, she closed the door. Are you kidding me? No, they just kind of deployed it. Oh, yeah, there's like... even I can kind of make out, it looks like she's tearing up. I can't imagine that's pleasant. And it's going to be in her hair, too, and her hair's getting in her face. Yeah, she's rubbing her face. That's what you should not do. I know. Just go into custody. Maybe she's like crazy high. I mean, I have no idea what she's doing down there. Day 4. Oh. Oh, there you go. There's no, that's second round. Just go cuff her. She's like, but it's coming out. It's not going into the truck. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. It's like it's all over her. I know. I think you should help her. Like, go over there and be like, get her out of the vehicle. Yeah, she just closed the door again. They're going for load 3 right now, I think. Or no, that was the second one. Oh my God. What is she doing?
At approximately 10:05 a.m., the suspect continued driving, even with flat tires, after officers deployed spike strips in hopes of ending the chase. Moments later, the chase continued along Coldwater Valley in Studio City, where officers attempted a close-in search maneuver. However, the chase continued. Shortly after a thorough search, the suspect's vehicle was wedged between a residence yard and several patrol cars. After unsuccessful attempts to force the suspect to surrender, around noon, 3 SWAT teams arrived and surrounded the truck. The vehicle was apprehended shortly before 12:40 p.m.
1 California minute. And yes, of course, we want to stay, but we cannot. We're out of here. All right, kids. Thank you for watching. Thank you.